And we welcome you in live here on the EIF Network. Thanks for tuning in. My name is, of course, EIF owner Carney, your host. As always, we're getting set for another fun-filled night. We've got two matches for you coming up here on the network tonight as we are in the eve and in the wake of September to Remember live on the EIF Network in just 6 nights. Tuesday, September 1st. I know a little bit of an odd day for a pay-per-view, but we're hoping that you guys can provide a great turnout as we normally see you do on our pay-per-view events. And on that night, we're going to see our 2 top world championships be defended along with a number of other great matches, one of which is a 5-man battle royale featuring 5 of the top rising stars and even 1 or 2 already established main event superstars in Extreme International fighting for the right to have their chance at a one-on-one with either of the world champions at Bonafide Fights, which is going to be coming up a little later in next month in September, of course. But for tonight, we're looking at 2 superstars in our first of 2 matches here on the stream. These 2 superstars are going to be looking to compete against each other for some momentum headed into that 5-man battle royale, which I should mention is going to be under the Superstardom brand, and it's going to feature Greedy, former Undisputed Superstardom and Undisputed World Champion. He's probably the most established guy you're looking at in that 5-man battle royale. He's got the resume, and of course 2K15 has been the breakout and career year for Greedy. He is of course representing the Architect Seth Rollins, and he's going to be going one-on-one tonight with another man who's in that match. Tyron hasn't been having a bad year. He has been having a bit of an inconsistency issue, and that's cost him a number of opportunities this and last year, but there is still a lot of good things to say about Tyron Hunt. He's going to be representing the Dead Man, The Undertaker, and Tyron has won a number of surprising battle royales in the past, believe me. He's also had a few cracks at the World Championships, both of them, the Undisputed World last year and the Undisputed Superstar. He's had a couple this year in 2015, but he is looking to change it, turn things around, and get him in the right direction, which is back in the world title picture and with a world championship. So coming up next, it is Tyron Hunt versus Greedy. And don't forget, in our main event following this, we've got Hybrid Maniac and Ratluck, the champion and challenger from ED, of course DZ not included, versus one of the 2 challengers and the Undisputed Superstar champion, Frost, who will be teaming up with one of his 2 opponents, beat down in a tag team Superstar match. That's up next here on Fight Zone. But first, let's bring you to our first match. The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first on his way to the ring from Florida, representing Seth Rollins, he is by the Greedy getting set. You can see he is debuting the, what a lot of people aptly refer to as the Power Ranger attire. Of course, that white bodysuit that Seth Rollins represented at WWE's SummerSlam event this past Sunday. Hope you enjoyed that. I know we have obviously a lot of wrestling fans here for a reason, so you probably saw SummerSlam, and we hope that you saw our SummerSlam too. Maybe which one you think was better, I don't know. They both had their fair share of hiccups, I guess I would say. But September to Remember promising to hopefully deliver the EIF action that we have consistently, for more times than not, been known to provide. Oh, this superstar served a huge spot in the WWE SummerSlam. He won at SummerSlam. Can Tyron Hunt win with the same character at September to Remember? Introducing his opponent from Houston, Texas, representing the Undertaker. He is Tyron Hunt. You know, this is a guy who, unlike his opponent tonight, yes, he has not won a world championship, but Tyron has taken people such as Brutality to the limit. He's eliminated Brutality in a past battle royale. He's fought alongside the current Undisputed Superstar champion, Frost, and gave him a run for his money back at Victory Votes. Can Tyron eliminate 4 other competitors? Can Tyron remain and be the last man standing in the ring when the dust has settled and cleared, and can Tyron punch his ticket into bona fide fights as a #1 contender for one of the 2 undisputed world championships? Or could it be Greedy again? Could Greedy, the man from Florida, the man who a lot of people thought was the little engine that could not, can't, never will, he did it this year, he's done it multiple times, can Greedy yet again prove his doubters wrong? And we're going to all find that out 6 days from now. Again, guys, I can't stress it enough. It is a Tuesday. It is at a 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. A little bit of an adjustment from what you're used to seeing, both day and time starts. But that is EIF September to Remember, the 9th annual September to Remember pay-per-view event right here on Twitch. As we get set, we're going to exit out of the entrance mode in offline. Let these superstars, let their actions speak louder than words, where these 2 will compete on Xbox Live, of course, to determine who is the better man. And you're going to be seeing 2 different styles sort of mesh here. With Seth Rollins, you're known for that speed, the high-flying action. Undertaker is not going to present that, but he's more of a powerhouse. Undertaker in WWE is known as one of the best, possibly the best striker of all time. So Tyron's got the power and the striking power, the low blow power as well as of late. We get set to send the invites out. Greedy and Tyron Hunt competing one-on-one in the first of our 2 matchups here. And don't forget, guys, it does not just include them. We're talking Aaron, we're talking Jetstar, and we're talking Pepsi Killer that are going to be included in this 5-man match coming up next week. Also want to give a shout out for those of you that weren't able to watch here on the network. We want to let everybody know, and you can find out this kind of information, the breaking news info that you don't see here on the network. If it's not on the website, if it's not on Twitch, it is on EIF Network on Twitter using @EIF Network. You can follow along with all of our action and coverage over the course of weeks spanning out here in EIF. And earlier this week, we saw Wicked Jr. end one of the longest active streaks for superstars that have not held a championship. Frost did it earlier this year. His was a bit longer than Wicked's, but still, it had been nearly 3.5 years since Wicked Jr. had claimed a championship of his own in EIF, and it was only 1 title. This time he did it the right way. Wicked Jr. won the X Division Championship, and for those of you that have been watching the EIF Network over the course of the last few months, going back to the launch of it in April, Wicked Jr. was that guy that you couldn't help but feel for him. You wanted to get behind him. He had so many opportunities that we thought were going to come his way. A finalist in the X Division tournament at Airbound back in April, but Wicked finally went back and was able to make up for where he had lost his time and track earlier in the earlier months in the year, and he is finally yet again a champion, the X Division champion, Wicked Jr. So again, a shout out and congratulations to Wicked. We'll keep you up to date. Earlier coverage that happened tonight. Don't forget, James Arkoffel kicked things off with a win over Descendant, also known as OWC Spider-Man. And that was a pretty good match. R-Truth and Eric Rowan. DZ defeated Tripod. Those are the 2 guys that are also involved in, we talk about our tag team match coming up. Well, DZ is the odd man out for the world title picture, as is Tripod for Superstardom. DZ won that match, and Pepsi Killer coming off a win over newcomer NBC Master, who gave him a pretty good run for his money. We get set. We'll get Tyron in the top right-hand corner, Greedy in the bottom left. Clearly, you guys don't know what that means, do you? Bottom left, Greedy, top right. Whatever, this works. All right. Good job, guys. I see directions are a big key into getting into EIF. Ding, ding, ding. Don't forget, guys, if you want to get into EIF, well, you just saw following directions and still failing not to do so. Still gets you a spot in this league. For more information, visit leaguelineup.com/EIF lives. Greedy with a stomp onto the ribs of Tyron. The dead man sits up rather quickly, but Greedy is going to do everything he can to keep that man down. Reverse DDT takedown, also referred to as a modified Scorpion Death Drop. Tyron Hunt able to avoid Greedy at that moment and opportunity to take his offense. Shin breaker goes in. From the ground stance, Tyron Hunt with a trio of elbows, upper shoulder area towards Greedy. Now Tyron backpedals, goes up forward for a ground grab. He runs right into a drop kick from Greedy. That speed is going to give Seth Rollins, character-wise, the advantage over The Undertaker 9 times out of 10, perhaps all 10 times Tyron Hunt fell for it there. And that's why it's interesting to see these two kind of styles mix up. You saw Tyron, if you guys have a good eye there, you can see Tyron was just about to try running, but Greedy is bringing the speed game to him, and he's taking it to the outside too with that outside dive and first of 5 taunts. And a half Nelson backbreaker goes in. Tyron Hunt struggling in the early goings here, needing a response. And Tyron Hunt now thrown right near me into the barricade, trying to get out of the way. He gets a reversal on Greedy. That's needed. Tyron running. Backbreaker connects for Greedy. And Greedy, what's he out? Greedy disqualification, man. Steel steps. He cannot get disqualified. Tyron Hunt looking to take advantage, and instead he got arm dragged. I think he might have caught a part of that lower half of those steel steps. And I'm trying to get back here, but Greedy is just not letting up on Tyron Hunt. In between the steps, diving knees right into the ribs of Tyron Hunt, and a second taunt goes in. Tyron Hunt needs to respond. He is getting absolutely butchered in this match. Neckbreaker. Greedy with a signature, and this is any indication of what we're going to see. This is Greedy trying to establish the mean streak and trying to send a message. He knows very well anybody can tune in here on the EIF network. Perhaps one, if not all, of the other 3 competitors, Aaron, Jetstar, and Pepsi, are tuned in right now. This is time for Greedy to send a message. He can play the mind games, and he can also play the game itself. A drop kick goes in on Tyron Hunt, who's just, I mean, look at this. This is, I don't know what to make out of this. This might be one of Tyron's worst performances we've seen this year. He's able to get a snake eyes into Greedy, but Tyron Hunt is going to have to calm the nerves down. This is a situation he's going to run into next week here on the network, so it's something that you want to try and correct now while you're still having the opportunity in a not-so-serious situation, although obviously a match in EIF is serious regardless. Oh no, Tyron Hunt, this could be the end of the match already. Greedy curb stomp connects. I cannot believe what I am seeing. Shoulders down, 1, 2, and piece of cake just like that. Greedy with an absolute demolition derby of Tyron Hunt. Well, Tyron knows speed versus power. Looks like it's going to favor speed's category, but I'll tell you what, if you're Tyron Hunt, I mean, you got to do everything you can to rebound from that performance 6 days from now, come back strong, because Greedy is not the only person Tyron is going to have to worry about. He's got 3 other competitors aside from Greedy, and you've also got other guys that can take through the air, such as Dolph Ziggler as well. So either way, though, Greedy with a convincing win here to kick things off on the stream. And, of course, our 4th match of the night here on Fight Zone edition number 75. But coming up next, we've got a tag team main event. Rare that we get to see a tag match, and it's going to be Hybrid and Ratluck. They're former rivals. They can be bitter enemies, but they're the best of friends at the same time. They're going to get an opportunity to team up with the team of Frost and Beatdown, an unlikely duo to say the least. And, of course, you got to wonder if either of these champions are going to have their eyes in the back of their head as well as the front, because they have to worry about their challenger. We mentioned Greedy sending messages. That could be exactly what Beatdown or Hybrid are going to attempt to do tonight. We get set, we'll go back offline for our entrance portion. So you guys, again, this is going to be a tag team match. It will be a standard tag match, not an elimination tag. Don't forget, guys, now this first team that we're seeing here, you guys might be thinking a little bit of an unlikely duo. I mean, we all know Brock Lesnar is a former MMA or UFC world champion. Not that he believed in DDP yoga as part of his routine, but he's going to have to tonight. The other duo we've seen before, Randy Orton and Chris Jericho, are rivals, or past rivals, I should say, when Jericho returned back in the day. And by back in the day, I don't mean the 02 attire that we're going to be seeing now. I believe it was 07. Chris Jericho returned. Could be wrong. Might have been 08. We get set here for, again, this tag team main event. Going to be explosive action. Send our entrances on first. Sorry if that was a bit of a delay for you guys, trying to get all the characters set up. But we appreciate you guys tuning in here on the EIF Network. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, to follow us here on the network. You can also follow us on Twitter using the @EIF Network. This week, a Twitter exclusive. We're going to be having a sit-down interview Q&A with one of the two challengers for Frost's Undisputed Superstar Championship and his tag team partner, The Beatdown. But that's not now. Let's get set for our main event, as this is the main event of Fight Zone as a tag team contest scheduled for one fall. Introducing the first team first, representing Brock Lesnar. He is from California. Hybrid Maniac. The Beast has awoken. Brock Lesnar and Undertaker had, well, a heck of a match with a, well, the not so heck of an ending, but either way, Undertaker failed to win when Tyron was representing him, so you got to wonder if Brock Lesnar can turn the tide. And here's Hybrid's good friend, the man that he's taking this World Championship from once. Can he do it again? For now, they're going to have to put their differences aside in this tag team match. Introducing his tag team partner in the ring from Battle Creek, Michigan. He is the undisputed EIF World Champion, representing DDP. This is Randall. Rallick, again, the EIF Undisputed World Champion, teaming up with his good friend Hybrid. They're going to have the advantage, I'm going to say, in this match based off the chemistry. Frost and Beatdown, this is the first time they've ever teamed up in EIF, perhaps ever even outside of the League of Extreme. You see this countdown coming on. And this could be the countdown that Beatdown hopes reaches 0 at September to remember. Beatdown looks to be the first Canadian-born superstar to ever hold a main event championship in EIF. Introducing their opponents first on his way to the ring from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, representing Y2J, Chris Jericho. He is the Beatdown. Again, Beatdown, this is a story that is hard to make up, and that's why we're not doing that. Beatdown was a guy earlier this year, January, February, right around that WrestleMania 8 fever that people were dealing with. He was the kind of guy that you never thought you'd see much longer. He was a guy that, to be blunt, pissed off a lot of people in the back. He wasn't getting along with pretty much anybody in this league, and his future kept getting dimmer and dimmer, but then the light shined out of nowhere. Beatdown had one hell of a summer that he's coming off of, in which he earned 3 United States Championship reigns, a couple of wins over some very credible competitors, a heck of a rivalry with Jetstar, and of course in matches he's even lost, he's managed to look great against some of the greats, such as Rallick and Hybrid, who he's competed with recently in these past couple of weeks. He gets an opportunity again, but he's going to get the help of a man that's, well, it's going to be tough for Beatdown to maybe see eye to eye with, especially 6 days from now when that championship is on the line. But he, in the month that he has been world champion of Superstardom, he has become Mr. Main Event, and he continues that trend here tonight. Introducing his tag team partner from New Hampshire, representing the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. He is the current reigning undisputed Superstardom champion. This is Frost. Frost, the undisputed Superstardom champion, and when he walks in to defend that title next, it will be on Tuesday of next week, and it will mark 45 days since he won that championship back in July. He looks to start September on the 1st with the first of many more successful defenses that could be coming in that month. And and you can see Frost holding the championship there, sort of taking a glare into the ring at Beatdown, perhaps his tag team partner. This is going to be tough for Frost too, because this is the guy who has to put his ego in check when he gets through the door, and it's going to be tough for him because he knows what Beatdown's thinking. He knows that Beatdown is watching Frost's clock and waiting for it to run out for when he can capitalize. They won't have to worry about the burden of tripod watching, although most people consider him a burden regardless if he's in your match or not. But either way, he may be watching on the network, and this could be a perfect opportunity for Tripod to scout either Frost or Beatdown heading into their match, as well as it could be for DZ heading into the Triple Threat Extreme Rules match for the Undisputed World Championship next week. And now, of course, just like our last match that you've been watching, we're going to take it back here on the Xbox Live portion where these guys can truly compete as opposed to an offline. We want to remind everybody watching here, for those of you that may be a little confused, this is not an interactive call universe. I know that they're very popular here on Twitch. This is merely the only way we can use entrances, which is by doing them offline. So as you can see, everything we do here, every match that we have, well, I mean, I guess we can't say every match now, but 99.9% of our matches are competitive, and they're competitive through Xbox Live, where these people are not fictitious characters. They are real, actual people competing for these championships. You guys will also notice that I chose the 6-man option, and I want to remind everybody that we're doing that for the sake of myself and somebody else to assist in viewing this match. And of course, we have you guys at home watching all over the place or on Twitch, and you guys can feel free to voice your opinions. We love hearing from you guys, and of course, take your input into consideration for all future broadcasts. Which, as of right now, I do want to let everybody know that it looks like our next broadcast is probably going to be sometime next week. And I know that that's obviously a guarantee with September to Remember on Tuesday. But, again, I'm not sure that there will be another broadcast prior to that. So, guys, again, if you don't see us anytime in the next couple of days, I promise you we will be back on Tuesday, just 6 days from now. And that's a guarantee, perhaps even sooner. But regardless, we will be doing it. I'd prefer you not. Technically not. And I apologize to the people viewing. I'm speaking out of character now. But you didn't have to be Uso either. You could have been anybody. Go ahead and ready up. What the hell? Oh. What the heck? Great.
You said that I could. You said that I could, so that's fucking dumb. That is. Bob's better.
All right, well, you guys that are watching at home, let's keep you up to date just so you know what's going on right now. Brutality is watching this match with me, and Brutality is not listed as a competitor in this match. In fact, he didn't get an opportunity to compete tonight, but what makes this situation a little more special is Brutality, if any of you have done your EIF Network research a few weeks back, on SummerSlam, won EIF's Money in the Bank briefcase. He has an opportunity at any point that he chooses to cash in with Money in the Bank, and he could do that tonight against Ratlock, who is the Undisputed World Champion. He can do it right in the middle of the match, and Brutality is at a historic landmark in this league. He is tied with 2 EIF Hall of Famers and former EIF superstars, perhaps some of the greatest all time, there's no doubt about it, and that is Anthony and Raymond, the 2 brothers from Queens, New York, who we were privileged to have had for a number of years with their great service, along with Brutality. Those three individually have 11 World Championship reigns each in the ED category, and Brutality is one away from being the sole leader of first place all time in this league with 12 Undisputed World Championships. However, I don't think Brutality is going to cash in at the beginning of this match. I can tell you guys that much, and I could be wrong, but something tells me he's not going to start the match off this way. Brutality, and now you can see, will be standing in the corners. All right, it will be Brutality. It will be a Frost, actually, and Ratlock starting the match off. Ding, ding, ding. the two world champions. And you can see Brutality is taunting up in the background, guys. If you're watching this, this is completely legal for Brutality to be doing this. Wait a minute. Ratlick going to tag in Hybrid. Okay, wants to play fire with fire. This might be smart. Hybrid is trying to be extremely respectful to his friend. And again, Hybrid wants this world championship, but he also knows that this match is not his to win for the world title. He wants to help out his good friend Ratlick. But meanwhile, Brutality could be taunting up to what could end up being 3 finishers. Hybrid Maniac could end up being alone in this match, although Ratlick can provide some outside interference such as that. Headbutt to the head of Frost. Well, this could, maybe this could favor Frost and Beatdown. This could end up turning into a handicap match. Well, Mr. Money in the Bank trying to be as frightening as possible to scare off the world champion. You got to admit, I mean, when you're at this point in the league as a world champion, everybody, you know, you talk about people that say they want to be a world champion, but you have no idea what kind of pressure it puts on you until you're in that situation. And I mean, Frost has been dealing with it, but you can't imagine what it's like to be Ratlick, who, you know, you have to be preparing for a match next week to defend your title in a match that you don't even need to be pinned to lose your championship, let alone you have to do matches like this here tonight. They're non-title, and you have to worry about a guy at every single step who's ready to take your world championship basically on a command prompt basis. If he's told to do it, he does it, and he's going to tell himself what he wants to do. So Brutality is in such a big advantage in that, and you got to feel for Ratlick, but Frost and Brutality, or Frost and Beatdown rather, are certainly not. They both know that another win on the record counts. Hybrid and Frost trading blows now as a forearm striked in there for the undisputed Superstardom champion. A title both Hybrid and Ratlick have had a ton of experience with. In fact, they main evented WrestleMania 7 for that championship. Frost just elbowed Ratlick off, gave Ratlick a little bump of damage, and that has to help Brutality, make him smile a little bit. Frost and Brutality have been great friends as well, so you have to think that, well, Frost might not really care too much if Brutality cashes in. And for those that are curious of how that works, Brutality would get in the ring. Ratlick would also be forced into the ring as the legal man. Both Brutality and Ratlick would be, and then the match would go on. The other competitors would be bystanders, and they would be given a no contest for this match. A little bit of lag, and now Beatdown. Oh, wait a minute. Beatdown distracted Hybrid, dragging his eyes over that top rope. Well, Hybrid seems to be okay, though. Frost now getting up, and Frost with a big clothesline. Still up onto the ground, but Hybrid with a reversal. Here's Frost. Hooks the arm of Hybrid Maniac. Suplex connects for the undisputed Superstardom champion. Don't forget, guys, those 2 main events coming up next week at September to remember are Frost defending his undisputed Superstardom championship against the Beatdown and Prismatic Nebula. It's been the 1-week trade deadline pay-per-view policy is in effect now, so the characters that they're using are the characters that they will have to use for next week. So it will be Frost defending with Randy Orton, his challengers, the Beatdown, using Chris Jericho, and Prismatic Nebula, aka Tripod, using Daniel Bryan. Now, Ratlick's match will be on ED terms, and it'll be for the Undisputed World Championship on the Extreme Distortion brand, where he defends against longtime friend Hybrid Maniac, along with another challenger, DZ. And, of course, that match will feature calls, but it will be Extreme Rules. Frost now hung up high on that top rope. Frost hit where the sun doesn't shine. Hybrid Maniac, the clothesline to Frost. Frost rolled over onto his stomach, and now Hybrid stomping on the arm of Frost. Now, for those of you that do want to, and maybe, again, this would, I guess, be to the more studious EIF viewers here. For those of you that don't know, Brutality also possesses a streak, and for Superstardom 101's, Brutality has never lost. However, the ruling on this would not classify it as a Superstardom match, because for those of you that have seen some tag matches in the past, although I don't know that we've done one here on the network necessarily, there have been mixed brand tag matches instead of a mixed gender, such as what you'd see on WWE with a diva and a wrestler teaming up against another diva and a wrestler. We've done 2-on-2s where one superstar on each team would be an ED character, the other one would be an SS. So it would technically be a mixed brand match, therefore Brutality's streak would not be on the line. However, it would still be a one-on-one nonetheless, as Beatdown is in advantage of Hybrid after being tagged in from Frost. Hybrid with an elbow to the face of Beatdown. Beatdown responds with a left hand. Gotta give credit to Hybrid Maniac. And you know what? I mean, Hybrid, going back to vengeance on the inaugural EIF broadcast, Hybrid stripped Ratluck practically of his Undisputed World Championship in a triple threat involving Aaron, who is competing in the Battle Royale next week on Tuesday. But you got to give credit to Hybrid. This is a respect level that Hybrid has for his friend. Hybrid does not want to see Ratluck lose the World Championship this way. Brutality is going to taunt up to 3 finishers, already at 2. Now Hybrid dragging Beatdown away. Hybrid with a back suplex to Beatdown. One taunt for Hybrid Maniac. Oh, wait a minute. Ratluck is dropping down. Okay, now this is smart. Ratluck does know that in this match he is given 5 taunts. I should mention to everybody that if a Money in the Bank were to be cashed in, considering that this match would be ruled a no contest for Brutality and Ratluck to begin theirs, Ratluck would also get another set of 5 taunts if Brutality were to cash in. And that's going to be the 5th taunt for Ratluck, but that's all the momentum he's going to get help for in this portion of the match, 24.4%. We could be watching history in the making if Brutality decides to cash in. We're also watching our tag team main event here on Fight Zone. If you're an EIF competitor, don't forget to tune in tomorrow and be a part of EIF Superstardom at 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, not expected to broadcast there, but you never know. We've seen crazier things happen in EIF, so that could be something that occurs. Keep your eyes peeled, but if you're an EIF competitor, definitely make sure you're there. And if you're not an EIF competitor, you have an Xbox One, if you have 2K15, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, add me. I'm EIF owner Carney. You can see that gamer tag in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That is an I in both Carney at the end and EIF. Don't forget, you can learn more information if you're curious by visiting our website, www.leaguelineup.com/EIF lives, and you can find the URL to that site right here on our Twitch page. Beatdown debating on tagging. He makes the decision. The tag has been made. Undisputed Superstardom champion back in. Beatdown feeling a little gassed, but gotta give credit to Hybrid. Man, he's putting the workload on those two. Hybrid went for the finisher. There's Frost with a taunt. Stomp onto the leg of Hybrid. Hybrid was just able to crawl out of the way, though. Now Beatdown going to use his taunts. Beatdown's allowed 5. There's 2. 3 for Beatdown. That'll get him a signature after this one. Clothesline connects. Maybe Beatdown perhaps just wanted the signature. He still has 2 taunts. Hybrid Maniac. Is Hybrid going to make the tag to Ratluck? Brutality does have 3 finishers. And Brutality might taunt up so that way he gets up to 150% plus the 3 finishers. And remember, Brutality is not a part of this match, so nobody is allowed to attack Brutality because it would result in free moves, and there's a finisher. Beatdown can get in the ring to break this up. Hybrid with the pin. 1, no, and that's all he's going to get. Beatdown breaks it up. Beatdown was closer than Ratluck was, so Ratluck a little bit out of reach. And that was a smart move from a competitor. I don't even know if Beatdown's been in a tag team match in EIF before. Even if he has, there's been far and few between. Frost was actually around in time periods where tag titles existed in this league. Of course, they have long since been forgotten. Superstars try to remind me that they aren't, but either way, they're not a part of the active EIF league, so Frost is probably at his fair share of tag matches versus the Beatdowns record in those categories. Frost now Irish whipping Hybrid, coming off the ropes. Could be a power slam, no. Drops down underneath him, and Hybrid going off the ropes. Frost with a right hand that's reversed. Toddy again, you can see having 3 finishers, but he's trying to do more to just ensure himself as much momentum as possible. And I have to wonder, and if you're watching, you have to think the same thing. Since Brutality won that briefcase a couple weeks ago, he's been threatening But is this possibly the most dangerous we've seen Brutality yet? I do not know for sure, but I mean, this, for me personally, from the matches I've watched, this might take the cake. I think this is the most dangerous we've seen Brutality, to looking like he might make the cash-in. And what kind of upside-down, twist-and-turn roller coaster of a pay-per-view could we be looking at in all the switches that might need to be made if Brutality decides that tonight is the night that he becomes a 12-time world champion? Hybrid Maniac with a German suplex to Frost. But I want to mention a thing. I mentioned that Ratlick would yet again have 5 taunts at the start of a match. Here's the thing. Brutality is going to have those finishers, yes. But Ratlick is still in green. Is there a better opportunity for Brutality at some point later in the year, whether it be Ratlick or a different champion? And you got to think DZ is involved in that World Championship match at September to Remember. Brutality has decimated DZ off history, and Hybrid has just used all 5 of his taunts. They were just barely away from being able to get the finisher, but the stomp to the back will do it. Ratlick moving away from the corner. Kimura is locked in. Beatdown was trying to break it up. Ratlick stopped him. And Frost taps out. Frost is tapping out. And Hybrid and Ratlick, and basically Hybrid, win the match. Brutality's cash-in is in vain. It does not succeed. He's not able to use the cash-in. But Hybrid is able to take out 2 of the top competitors in Superstardom basically by himself. Ratlick was being threatened for a little bit, but he has a little bit more time now that he can wait. But relaxation is not the word you'd be using, because don't forget, guys, in just 6 days from now, live on the EIF Network, Ratlick will defend his championship in an Extreme Rules match against DZ and his tag team partner tonight, Hybrid Maniac. Frost will receive the same treatment in a normal triple threat, with Beatdown and Tripod trying to fight for their chance to be undisputed Superstardom champion. We also have a 5-man battle royale confirming the next competitor to fight one-on-one for one of the 2 world championships at Bonafide Fights. We've got a non-title champion versus champion match pitting the new X Division champion Wicked Jr. up one-on-one in a Superstardom match with a man that holds the US title that belongs to the Superstardom brand, Prof Jag, and that is just a little bit. We've got more action that will be headed your way, plus those 4 matches, and it's all going to be live right back here on the EIF Network next week, Tuesday, September 1st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Going to be a huge event, so you do not want to miss it. But in the meantime, to make sure you don't miss it, you can follow us right now on Twitch here at the EIF Network. Use @EIF Network to follow us on Twitter for more up-to-date coverage regarding September to Remember, regular shows, and more, including an exclusive interview with Beatdown tomorrow night regarding his first World Championship match in EIF. Don't forget, if you want to take your dedication to the next level, we also accept donations through PayPal. Become an even bigger member of EIF today. And if you want to become a member of the wrestling roster here, simply contact me on Xbox One by adding me or sending me a message, or visit our website at www.leaguelineup.com/EIFlives. Well, that's all we have for you tonight here on the network. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you at September to Remember. Good night, everyone.